All right, what's going on? Well, it's your boy at Big Game James _36. And you guys know, following me, you see what I've done with Domo, partnering with them and helping finance that. I've jumped into the 7on7 world pretty tough, and I ain't know nothing about it, but I do know the different names. And when I got the opportunity, I said I got to take this. So we're with the people who run 7on7 world with Pylon and the different founder. We're gonna get into all of that because I want to know the history. Like, what started you with 7on7, and what made you pick Pylon? Why this name, and what is it all about?
Okay, so in high school, I was heavily recruited. I was a first team All-State cornerback, and I ran a bad 40, and I lost a lot of scholarship offers. I ended up going to New Hampshire and had my career, and it was good. And I didn't want to have kids that were able to, go on and play major Division I football to get their opportunities cut because they had bad testing. So I was like, well, what is the best way to evaluate talent if I'm a college coach in a camp setting where kids aren't running a 40? And then, to me, it just made sense that it was 7on7. Like, you get a chance to see if a quarterback can read a defense, if a defensive back can play man-to-man, if they man-to-man, if they understand zone coverages, so on and so forth. So to me, it was just a better evaluation tool. But that's how it started. So there was no circuit. When that happened, there's a long story in that, but we ended up having to put all the top kids on teams to represent their state. And they met each other at the event, and they ran off of cards. So if this had the play on it, coach holds it up, everybody gets in, I got this guy, I got that guy, I got that guy, go run the play, and then it snowballed from there. There were no teams.
How did we go from that to the team concept? Because I actually like that almost a little bit better. But what made you guys go from just bringing kids in, having a camp, bringing them together to where now it's become teams, and there's a swag, and there's a whole culture when it comes to that? But what made you guys branch off to that model?
Because what happened is we knew 7on7 was going to be the way. It wasn't just that particular event to keep bringing kids in. It was going to be this change. It was going to become AAU basketball. It was going to become that. And that's kind of how it was started. So, once people seen that this was happening, obviously people in the industry are like, well, coaches, you're calling my kids, to play on this team. How about I coach? South Florida Express was the first ever 7on7 team because I was calling Geno Smith and Ryan Shazier and all those guys a long time ago, and they all played for Brett Getz' Optimum Football League. So he called me and said, instead of them coming in to play on a team that, they're just meeting, how about they just stick together and I'll coach this team and we'll call it South Florida Express. And then from South Florida Express, Florida Fire, Ground Zero, and then.
Gotcha. I understand that. So how did you get into this mix? 'Cause obviously I don't think you played football at New Hampshire, but what brought you to Pylon?
Baron. Okay. So Baron and people always think that we're husband and wife, but we're not. He has a beautiful wife, Ashley. We are first cousins. Our mothers.
Shout out, babe.
Our mothers are sisters. Okay. And so I always say Baron, to this day, even he's a visionary. Like, he envisioned this. Like when he said, he says we always knew 7on7 was the way. I never thought that. I didn't even know what 7on7 was. However, what I do know how to do is help run things and help, get cross the T's and dot the I's. He has a vision. I came in and kind of helped him a few years later. It wasn't always Pylon. We started, I think, what was the first name? New Level Athletics.
New Level Athletics, but we were sponsored by Badger Sports. And it was crazy because I knew I'd make every mistake there was to make as an entrepreneur. And I didn't want to do it under my company name, so we sold the name to another company to be the title sponsor. Right. So everybody knew it as the Badger 7on7s, but it was actually New Level Athletic was the company, but we sold the naming rights and it was Badger Sport. But then after that, we kind of got our footing, understood how to do it, run it, it was like, okay, now it's time to brand our own thing. And I was watching the Facebook movie, and they were talking about how somebody told Mark Zuckerberg you have to drop the off of Facebook, just Facebook. And so we were kind of trying to find words that were, just one word that kind of resonated, and just going through, and a pylon just made the most sense, because people don't realize it's a double entendre. Pylons are the pylons for the end zones, but they're also information gateways and visual gateways. So basically, like, pylon is the gateway from high school to college.
Okay. Damn, that's some hella marketing right there. You gotta have that.
But he pulled me in just to kind of help him out. Literally, I was just helping him on the back end, and he really took me under his wing. But there was a lot of times I did not want to do it. I wanted to quit, because the men in the sport, treated me like shit. I'm just gonna be honest. They didn't think I knew anything about football. I'm from Western Pennsylvania, from Pittsburgh. I know a lot about football. But I didn't have to know a lot about football to run a great event. And, but, he made me stick around. And once I was able to develop the tough skin that I had, and really understand my reason for being there, and helping him see his vision, and making sure that these athletes got an opportunity, because that was really the main focus. I really didn't care much about the adults. It was more about the athlete and the kid. And I just grew to love it, because, like I said, I have 4 daughters, and now I have all these sons, and to be able to see them flourish and make a way in their lives is great. And I'm just glad to be a part of it.
So walk me through this, because we'll have a lot of parents and a lot of people who are still getting to know the 7-on-7 world. I'll be honest with you, as a running back, as a guy who hit people, I like inside drills. I wasn't the biggest proponent of 7-on-7 until I got into it, and now I'm like, okay, what is it like? What is the experience like at Pylon, coming as a parent or coming as an athlete, when you go to one of you guys' tournaments?
I'll say this to talk about the football aspect of it. We built it to focus on evaluation and scouting. So in our events, you can run the ball. You can hand the ball off. So the quarterback can't run, but you can hand it to the running back. Why is that important? One, because it gives the running back an option to carry the ball in 7-on-7, where that traditionally doesn't happen. But then 2, from an evaluation standpoint, people always say, how does 7-on-7 translate to the game? It doesn't translate. Those people don't know what they're talking about. They, obviously it translates. NFL teams run it as a practice drill. It translates. But what we've also done is allowed the linebackers, with the running backs to run, that keeps your linebackers honest. Because if your running backs can't run, your linebackers drop out of depth. They're too far down the field, you know what I mean? And it's like, that's not real football. Hand that ball off, you got to keep them honest. So we've done little things like that to actually really focus on keeping the transferable parts of 7-on-7 to the game. We really focused on that by doing that. And that might seem like a small thing, adding that run. It's actually a really big thing, because if people understand the evaluation process and linebacker depth, it's a big deal. So that's the first thing. We focus on the football. But then what you're going to get is the best competition. You're going to find out if you can play or not. You're going to be forged in fire. People standing around the end zones, and there's no football. It's football players, but they don't got on the pads. So all of that raw emotion, passion that football players let out physically, they let it out different in 7-on-7, with explosive plays, celebration backflips, and just testosterone to compete is just at an all-time high at Pylon. And because we are the first in the originals, you get respect for winning Pylon. So I think it means a little bit more to the teams and the players to come to Pylon and play. You definitely turn it up a little bit more, because I've been to other events that aren't Pylon, and it's like we just here working. But then you get to Pylon, I'd be like, bro, you weren't acting like that last week. You're like, well, shit, one pylon, it ain't mean that much.
So let's talk about that. So 7on7 again came obviously when you guys originated, it started. There's been a couple other different organizations as well. Have you ever thought about the bottle, like I guess with OT7, that's the thing that I heard really about last year. What are your thoughts on things like that? And how does that compare to what you guys do at Pylon, or is there just absolutely no comparison?
First of all, let me say this about overtime. And I respect everybody in the game. Everybody can eat, but overtime was coming to our events, shooting our videos, doing all that stuff, coming to our events, trying to figure out what teams they're going to invite to their events. Everybody has a niche for what they do. But the only thing I can say about everyone else, in opposed to what we do, like we strictly don't do this for a check. We strictly do this for an opportunity for these kids to get seen by college coaches and get an education. We're not worried about the clicks, but I don't care about the likes. I'm more geared toward the lives of these children. And like Baron will say, it's like a lot of these players, a lot of these athletes, a lot of the underdog kids who are in farming communities in South Texas or in middle of California that have never gone anywhere, never stayed in a hotel or done anything like that. Didn't think there was an opportunity for them to go to school. And it don't have to be a D1 school. It could be a D2. It could be a JUCO. Just something to get them educated, off the streets, doing something positive. I can't speak, like I said, I can't speak on the other ones. Do I feel like we're the best? Definitely be the best. Be the best to ever do it. And we'll be the best. We're grassroots. This is blood, sweat, and tears. We didn't have millions of dollars from merchandise or a media company. We don't have that kind of money. Like literally to keep us afloat is when people come and attend to come and watch their kids play on a weekend. And that's just the bottom line. But we the best to do it. We're the best to ever do it.
I'm gonna be honest with you. Had absolutely no. I heard. Yeah, she said that.
Like that. That's not my. It's not even my. It's not in my nature. It's not in my makeup.
But since you asked the question,
I appreciate you answering very candidly.
And I appreciate you answering it like that, because I be wanting to jump out here and talk crazy sometimes. It's what I do want to talk about is entrepreneurship. Young black entrepreneurship.
That's what I was going into next. I had no idea this was a black-owned company.
I know, I get that all the time. I said that, and somebody was like, "Why you want to make it race?" But you just said
it's not. It's not about that. You're black, right? It's a company, right? You're a woman. Like this, that's kind of cool. Like for me as an entrepreneur, even bringing these young men to that, I just assume, and when you assume, you make an ass out of you and me. Yeah. But I went. I was like, hey, okay. I go to these other ones. I see white people, which is nothing wrong with it. I'll still go to those. We've been to 3 tournaments for Domo National, those things this year, and I'm like, okay, shout out Domo, my God, T. Lee, and everybody. We're not getting, I'm with you. Actually, that energy you just gave to that marketing company, we got the best. We got some of the best kids in the nation, and we got to go out here and we're told that we got to put a roster together that's not necessarily the best roster. It's the roster with the most clicks. Right. And so it's more exciting as opposed to I just feel that the best team, and that's just. But talk about the energy. And not the energy, and then just the passion, and how much and why you have to be on a high level of excellence, being a black-owned company.
For me, what drives you know what, man? Because honestly, this is going to sound crazy when you watch interviews and people say things that's like how don't you get it or understand? For me, black-owned company. I just want to do a good job. I don't even know if that's corny or real or what. I just want to do a good job. I want people to say, Pylon did good business. I want people to say, Pylon has a good service and a good product. I want people to say, Pylon has impacted thousands of lives on and off the field. And if we can do that, we win.
And we have done that.
And we've done that.
The Jordan brand, they didn't call all the other brands when they wanted to get into the football space with the Jordan logo. They called us. And for a whole season, that's how the Jordan brand integrated themselves. And I think, where did they go? What was the college that they went to right immediately after that?
Michigan and North Carolina, or North Carolina they were at.
But
Michigan.
Pylon was the first to wear Jordan brand as a football uniform. Pylon was also the first football company to ever play a football down in SoFi Stadium. They called us, we did not call them. So we are recognized, even though we are a black-owned company, well, we are recognized for what we have done in the space. And I'm sure if there was another group out there in the 7on7 space that was doing the things that we did, they'd get the same opportunity. That's all I gotta say. And I mean, like I said, there's companies out there that used to be our sponsors, used to come and eat off our backs. Now they're doing their own thing. But where do they always come to and gravitate to first? Pylon. Period. Point blank.
Right. So I see you guys. You have your nationals.
Yep.
You have
Philadelphia.
to participate in the nationals. Do you have to participate in one of the first ones, or how does it work to be able to win a national championship with Pylon?
Nationals is open.
Okay.
It's not open. You have to attend one event. That's it.
Okay.
One event. So you have to attend one of the 40 cities on our schedule. And then if you attend one of those, you don't have to win to go to nationals, but you have an open door to attend nationals. So I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you good. You good. Get it right.
Nah, that sounds that you got it right. Shoot, wow, I have so many. I don't want to take all your time, but man, this is awesome. I mean, again, the energy, I love that. It's definitely 7on7 energy.
No, you understand because you're in the space and you understand it in a way that maybe other people don't. So you're able to ask questions that other people kind of haven't. It's usually like, how did you start Pylon and things like that, which, you know, is cool. It's a good story. But now it's 17 years in. It's so much more nuanced in, you know, how we run our business now to help all of these athletes. I mean, we started with 3 events to 40 on a weekend. You know, like 1 a month to 3 in a weekend.
Our first Vegas tournament, we had 16 teams. Last year at the Mecca, we had 226.
And y'all go 8U all the way up, or is it
10U?
10U up?
Yeah, no seniors. And we just started incorporating linemen. It's called Power Line. It's 5v5. However, Baron, the visionary that he is, changed the game again. So it's a little bit more of just the 5v5.
So we got linemen. So explain this, because I got some linemen I can bring to instance. How does that work? Obviously, is it one-on-ones, or is it like
so usually they do it like one-on-ones. They get all 5 out and then go 1 at a time, 2 reps. That's not 5v5. They call it 5v5. So I never understood that. So I also thought that it's not good enough to evaluate because you can't get enough reps throughout the time. And so it's like you can't evaluate, you don't get enough reps, and the game for me just wasn't something that I thought would get traction. So what we did is we changed it to where our lineman game is 4 quarters, and it only involves the lineman, tackle, guard, center, guard, tackle. And in the first period, so first quarter, my team versus your team, it's in skilled drills. So like my best tackle versus your best tackle will run a 10-yard sprint. Whoever wins, their team gets a point. And then 5 go. 5 my guys, 5 your guys race against each other. Second quarter, we go the one-on-ones. Third quarter, we go 3s, half line. So nobody was doing that. So now we get to see if you can come off the line, if you can read, all of those things in half line. And then we gave them additional spacing so that they don't roll up on each other's ankles. And then for the final quarter, it's all 5 go out one time with additional spacing.
Oh, so y'all are taking care. Y'all ain't just neglecting the big uglies.
Yeah,
y'all making sure that they get in there.
And we want to make sure it's done right, because what they're doing out there now is just not right, and it's not gaining traction because kids are traveling all across the country to go to a lineman event. There's not that many linemen. The way the game was set up, if I'm from Chicago, I fly to Dallas. The game, as it was set up before, was only 6 minutes long. I don't know if you're into the 5v5 stuff.
Nah, I've never heard. This is my first time.
It's only 6 minutes long. So you come from Chicago to Dallas.
It's a long trip.
You don't play 6 minutes. Parents was heated. So I was like, we got to do something about this. But I wasn't never a lineman, so I didn't know what was par for the course for linemen. So once we seen what the issue was and why I wasn't able to gain traction, we were like, okay, this is how we can do that, by actually creating a game that's specifically for the evaluation skill sets of linemen.
So you're an innovator. Obviously, again, you started, and not just an innovator, an originator. Where do you? And you said you've been in this 17 years. So if we're going to look into the future, in 10 years, where do you see 7on7 or off-season competition going for high school or young student athletes?
I see non-contact football as, in the future, global, and massively global. NBA massively global, but that may be flag because NFL has initiative in that. So I consider it just all non-contact football. As far as Pylon and 7on7 in the next 10 years, hopefully we will have scale to be able to do hundreds of events, leagues, and then the next thing for us is, network TV, bringing it to the masses so that they can see how exciting the game is. Because really, if you watch 7on7 at Pylon as a culture, and everybody misses because they not Pylon. If you film Pylon and put it on TV, it's box office. Our game is better. Yeah. Like, I don't even want to tell the people what they're doing wrong in their game and why it's not even televised.
You ain't gonna be jumping in mosh pits. You ain't gonna be doing any of that. You ain't gonna see
the field's too long.
You ain't gonna see linemen as a 7on7 team running around. It's not about that.
I thought you was about to give me that big Suge Knight energy. You ain't finna see the producer all up in the videos, all up in the songs.
Yeah, I mean, Baron barely wants to give a speech. Like, they love it. They love when he brings the team together to give speeches. But that's not what he does. That's not what he wants to do. It's never about him. It's never about Pylon. It's always about the athlete.
That's dope. I could definitely see that. I could see the leagues. I could see definitely moving forward. It is must-see TV. One of the biggest things that we do, I got a kid, a ninth grader, Bryson Wright. Everybody calls him B5 from out of the Jacksonville area. And that's actually what brought me into the 7on7 space, was seeing that young man and seeing how much. I was like, all right, he needs some guidance.
Yeah.
Incredible athlete, but we just got to make sure he's not being taken advantage of, and it's all about the kids. And that's one of the biggest, again, my biggest takeaway from this, and giving people their flowers. Obviously, very impressed at what you built, but also you very much so said consistently, it's not about making as much money as you can. It's about making sure that the kids are showcased. And you also did a great job of blending it in with your story. So I appreciate you guys. Appreciate the time. Again, I don't want to have an hour. Please do.
I do want to say this though about that. It is not about the money. But what I also do want people to see is that if you keep, and this is really for the football players because of NIL and all of that, if you keep the main thing, and you go after that main thing every single day like it's the only thing you got to do, then everything else is gonna come. The money and all of that's gonna come. You ain't even gotta focus on that part of it. If for you athletes out there, you entrepreneurs out there, if you just get up and try to be your best every single day, the money and everything else that comes from the work, that's just is going to come.
And you too can have Louis Vuitton shoes that you can just rock, because my man got the Louis on over here, man. I'm rocking Crocs and he's rocking Louis. But I got
Nikes.
They're nice though. They're
not too bad.
But definitely appreciate you guys. So where can they get more information about Pylon that they need on social medias, or just to get, again, whether it be following or if they want to get involved in 7on7? How do the people go and find you guys?
So our website, pylonfootball.com or pylon7on7.com, and our handles on IG and X are Pylon 7on7.
All right, cool. And hopefully we'll get that Domo team in there so we can come get that. Can I get the bling?
Yeah.
Like, we win, we get the bling. That's what I want, some of the bling, man.
You get the MVP, get the bling. It's for the kids.
Oh, yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. I just write the check. No problem. No doubt. I appreciate y'all so much, man.
Thank you.